does that? Oh, am I still muted? I do not know. What's going on, everybody? How are we doing this fine evening? Someone sleeping? I can't see anything.
Hello?
That's kind of weird. Yeah, are you guys there?
I'm here.
What is going? Okay. Oh, there we go. I can finally see you guys. Got it. And internet.
I just heard heavy breathing.
Yeah, I thought that was you. Oh,
no,
wow.
I was muted.
And Teresa talked. I talked. That was weird. Okay, heavy breathing it is, I guess, tonight on another great edition of A Stream by the Crossroads. Almost forgot my own name. How is everybody doing tonight? Let's say hi to the chat real quick. We got Tina Infinity. I love it. Tina Bojan. That is awesome. I have new, for my members, I got thank you to Red Gaze. I have different colored sporks, like highlighted sporks. They're black, but they're like green outline, red and blue. So I'm going to start using those for your badges. We got Kai up in the house, one of the authors of The Fourth Wave. Machini, of course. Scott, we have a black screen and you are robotic because my computer sucks. My internet sucks. But soon enough, I'll have brand new stuff. We got Keck44. What is up, Keck? Miss Martin Muses, thank you for being here. Here we go. Yes, indeed. Lady Tauriel says hello. Hopefully she can get up in here. It's a little tough with her internet. And that's what I see. So let's start this bad boy off. Let me introduce my panel. As always, some great people. We have next to me, Miss Martin Muses. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. Ready to talk some Clash of Kings.
Yes.
Yes, it was so good. Yes, these chapters were awesome.
Yes, they were. I can't wait to. And then we also have the one, the only, first of his name, Stig Kenobi.
Lord of Dragonstone, Master of Ships, King of Westeros, Lord of Storm's End, King of the Andals, the Ruiner, and the First Men. Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, protector of the realm. All who deny that are my foes. Let no man claim ignorance as a defense, till bend the knee, or I'll destroy them. The cold winds are rising. Time to hail to the king. Isn't that
He's the king in the north? Damn it, I jumped the gun. He's the king in the north.
No, I'm the king of the whole Westeros, not just the north.
Yeah, man, that's good. Parrot head up in the house. That was a good one, man. And speak of the devil, Lady Tauriel, how are you?
Well, it's hard to follow an introduction like that.
Yes.
Sporking made me do it. I just did it kind of once. Yep. And then he said I had to look up this page where all the titles were.
Yep.
Well,
I think it works.
Myself, though.
All I can say is come to Muirwood and we will see. Come to Muirwood.
Oh, the elves of Muirwood. I like it. I
have the Lord of Light on my side and Woods Burn.
She does have one of the elvish rings, though, doesn't she?
Tauriel doesn't.
At least in Muirwood. In Muirwood, she does. Right?
No, not one of.
No, that's Galadriel.
Oh, Galadriel. That's who I was thinking of. Man. I thought, wait a minute, where is she from? I thought it was Muirwood.
Not Galadriel.
No, Galadriel is from Lothlorien, which is to the south.
I'm thinking of Legolas, right?
Yep.
Legolas and Tauriel are from Mirkwood in the north.
That's awesome. Now, before we get into a Game of Thrones, I'd like to ask you guys, have you heard any news on the Lord of the Rings series? And if not, are you looking forward to it? Not looking forward to it? What do you guys think? Lady Tauriel, how about you?
No, I'm not looking forward to it.
I didn't think so. I knew you were going to say that. I'm a little worried that when Christopher Tolkien passed away, I got a little nervous, and I don't know what's going to happen. How about you, Stig? Are you looking forward to it?
I'm very much on the fence, but Amazon is, woke as shit. and for some reason they're also going to add nudity to it, which I don't mind nudity at all, but I don't want it in Tolkien because it doesn't fit.
It's gratuitous. Like, what's the reason they're going to be naked? You know, like it makes no sense. Like, it's a very, I think you'll agree, it's Tolkien made this so kids can read it. You know, younger people can read it and enjoy it.
Yeah. And, sexuality, I guess, isn't a factor at all in any of the books.
No.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, even the romance that is there, it's very low key. It's just a teeny tiny little bit.
Right. I don't know. I've been catching up on my Silmarillion stuff. I don't know, but what else Miss Martin muses about it?
And I was also going to add everything that everyone said, but also including, I just know way too much about Tolkien the man, and he was an incredibly devout Roman Catholic who had strong opinions about things like gratuitous sex and the like. So whether or not you would say agree with whether or not that should be in a book or a show, I think that we would all agree that you need to honor the vision of the person who created it. And so it's out of place, not just within the story, but also within the creator's vision. And that's very dicey territory.
Yeah. I think everyone should repeat after me when I say it's bag end, not shag end.
You know,
let's make a meme out of it. We got to make a meme out of it.
Right. What I have a source that knows about this stuff. Actually, all I did was watch a Nerdrotic video, but he put Gary said that when Christopher Tolkien passed away in 2020, they fired like the whole writing staff and rewrote the first season. So that right there should worry people. And I don't know if that's a grain of salt thing or definite, but that should worry people if that actually happened, because he was the custodian of his father's work. And we don't know how the other relatives, the siblings, if they're still alive, but other relatives care as much as he did about his father's legacy. Yeah. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. Dollar signs.
Yep.
It could be that they're, woke idealists too.
Yeah, that's true. All I do know is that George R.R. Martin is still writing The Winds of Winter. And when we get that, because it is coming out this year, I'm calling it December. I'll be buying that book. We're done with this type of thing, and we're going chapter by chapter for that book. I'm telling you that right now.
I'm calling it too. Just like I did for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, I remember us calling it last year too.
I'd like to call Hell Freezing Over, because that's when the book's going to come out.
Yeah. Well, that's the Battle of Ice, and I can't wait for that. How did you guys feel about these 3 chapters? Did anybody have any general feelings on the chapters they read? Which one was your favorite? Lady Tauriel, I know you don't always plan to jump in and out. It was Bran's 2nd chapter, Tyrion's 4th chapter, and Sansa's 2nd. Did you get a chance to read it or remember reading it because you just read them this year?
Yeah, I went back and read all 3 of the synopsises. So Bran's very telling. Tyrion, I love. Sansa,
Sansa, right?
Yeah, that's about all I can say.
I'm with you on that. What about you, Stig?
I haven't read it since last year.
Okay. Yeah.
I got carried away because we started reading book 1 and all, and I have trouble stopping.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're gonna get to book 2 soon, right? So I just pushed on, and then Tauriel was reading them and talking to me about them, and I got even more excited about the books. So I ended up reading 3.5 books.
Oh, wow. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I know you'll remember everything that's going on once we read the synopsises. Miss Martin Muses, how about you?
Well, as I said earlier, I absolutely loved them. I even actually almost liked the Sansa chapter. I really, though, really enjoyed the Bran one, and I think this was the Bran one I've enjoyed the most, possibly.
Wow.
Well, I'm usually when I'm reading a Bran chapter, it's one big WTF.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that mysticism and weird stuff with crows flying around everywhere. This time around,
Question: WTF means what the fuck, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Yeah.
There you
Just
go.
checking.
Any
Yes.
sponsors out there? That's what it means.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't care. You know that.
Well,
yeah.
and I like the fact that it was a little more of the daily life, maybe, but I don't know how to quite describe it, of what it was like in the new Winterfell now that they were essentially a kingdom.
Yes.
And how that changed for Bran and the other people around and the people that were coming to see them. I love that. And of course, Tyrion, I just always love Tyrion because I love all that stuff.
Yes. I'm glad you said that about Bran's chapter. A lot of people think this is a boring chapter. I think this is a very important one, and we'll talk about that right after we have the great Stig Kenobi reading the long synopsis from Westeros.org, which gives us great synopsises. So look up, you just have to go A Clash of Kings, chapter, I think we're starting with 16, and you can follow along with us. So whenever Stig is ready, let's
every
do it.
damn time I pick a chapter, it's a long one.
Every time. And Latino Slam, Paulie wants to say, "What the frack?" That's a very fracking thing there. Paulie's a great channel, guys. If you don't, if you're watching this later, follow him.
I think Biden was going to ban fracking, actually.
Oh. And there goes the stream. Bye-bye, YouTube. No, I'm just kidding.
He doesn't like
This information about Biden is disputed.
Yeah, right. You're gonna see that warning underneath my description. All right. Whenever you are ready, Stannis, Stig.
Yeah,
Baratheon,
I'll read half of it, and then
okay.
We can talk about the first half, right?
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
You stop. You let us know when you're stopping.
Yeah. Synopsis. Bran is awake long before dawn. Winterfell is full of guests for the harvest feast, and he must play the prince. He always wanted to be a knight, not a prince, but now that he is broken, he must spend his days listening to old men discuss things he barely understands. Lord Wyman Manderley arrived from White Harbor 2 days ago, and Bran welcomed him from his father's high seat. Afterwards, Sir Roderick Cassell said he had done well, but Manderley was only the first. Many lords with matters to discuss with their overlord will use the feast as a pretext.
Hold on, the dire wolves are coming. The dire wolves.
Yeah. Hodor arrives to help him dress. Bran prefers to dress himself, but some things are just quicker with help. Bran is astonished by Hodor's deftness and strength, and says he could have been a great knight if the gods had left him his wits. Mounting into his basket, Bran instructs Hodor to carry him downstairs. Out in the yard, Bran watches the Walders jousting against Quintons. Bran notes that Little Walder struck harder, but Big Walder sat his horse better. When Little Walder sees Bran on Hodor's back, he remarks that Hodor is an ugly horse, which angers Bran. The Walders continue to insult Hodor, and Little Walder begins bumping him with his horse. Bran grows angrier and threatens to sick Summer on them, but Little Walder points out he is wearing armor and says he wants a wolfskin cloak. Then Maester Luwin arrives to break up the argument and chastise the Walders. Big Walder has the grace to look ashamed, but Little Walder remains haughty. Lewin reminds them that the good lords protect the weak and warns them to stay out of the Godswood. He then calls on Bran to come with him to meet Lord Wyman. The Maester tells Bran he was right to defend Hodor, but it should not have been necessary to fetch him to meet Lord Wyman. Bran apologizes and asks if they will talk of the war. Lewin reminds Bran that he is only 8 and should not speak unless spoken to, much like a woman. Inside, Bran is seated in his father's chair with Lewin and Sir Roderick beside him. The morbidly obese Lord Wyman Manderley is very pleasant, insisting no prince is ever late. He talks about White Harbor being the best place to mint currency and build a fleet for Robb's new kingdom. Talk of warships piques Bran's interests, and he thinks it's a splendid idea, but no one asks him. The meeting continues through lunch, during which Lord Wyman inquires about his widowed cousin, Lady Donella Hornwood, whose husband and only son died on the Green Fork and in the Whispering Wood. He suggests that he would be interested in marrying her, or she could wed his son, Sir Wendell. Later, Lord Wyman informs them that Tywin Lannister has offered to ransom his son, Sir Willis, who was taken captive on the Green Fork, if he withdraws his support for King Robb. He has, of course, refused, but hopes for an equitable prisoner exchange as soon as possible. Lady Hornwood arrives during supper, and Bran expresses his condolences to the grief-stricken widow. She thanks them, but asks to leave to rest and continue the next day. The next morning's talk is devoted to preparations for the coming winter, until Lady Hornwood warns them that Roose Bolton's bastard son, Ramsay, is massing men at the Dreadfort, and he refuses to explain his purpose. When Sir Roderick says he does not know the man, Lady Hornwood explains that Ramsay lived with his mother until Domeric Bolton died and left Roose without an heir. She adds that Ramsay brought along an equally cruel servant named Reek, who is said to never bathe. The two hunt together, and not for deer, and there are other tales that are hard to believe even of a Bolton. Lady Hornwood fears Ramsay covets her land now that her husband and son are gone. Bran wants to give her 100 men, but Sir Roderick only promises to protect her lands and adds that in time it may be prudent for her to wed again. She remarks that she is beyond childbearing age, yet attracts more suitors than ever. She promises to marry if commanded, but there is no one to her liking. She points out that Lord Manderley is too big to share a bed with or lie underneath. Bran knows that men sleep on top of their wives, and imagines sleeping under Lord Wyman would be like sleeping under a horse. Sir Roderick sympathizes and promises to look for a suitor more to Lady Hornwood's tastes, at which points she hints interest in Sir Roderick himself. Okay, pause.
Yeah, that's a good spot to pause. A lot going on there. Let's just quickly, for $2, Toxic Man Flu says, is J.R.R. Tolkien, I'm guessing, or George R.R. Martin, going to release a song of Nutless Scott? Yes, yes. As of Friday, that will be probably true if I go through with it. Free Folk of the Fandom. Mason, how are you, my man? Hail, friends. Make sure you guys check out Mason's channel. He's trying to build something there, and he's a really good dude. He's been on our stream once a long time ago. We'll have to have him on again. Just DM me, buddy. Lasso of Truth. Good evening, friends. Good to see you, buddy. I'm really starting to love the people that are now showing up and hanging out with us. And yes, Shane Nolan. Yes. Poor Lady Hornwood. I said Hornwood. I feel horrible for her. Why don't we start out? Who would like to start on this one? This is half the synopsis, so we'll go over what we just read. How about Teresa? Do you want to speak on it because you like the Bran chapter?
Yeah. It may sound so ridiculous and mundane, but I love just the little mundane little details about all just that day-to-day stuff. I really liked it. And I thought it was hilarious. And it was in the synopsis too. Poor little Bran, when he was like, he heard about men sleeping on top of women, but that would totally crush her. And I'm like, once again, he's doing such a good job of translating what we know into a child's brain, and just how he just didn't get it.
Yep.
And because he's a child, good attention to detail.
Yeah, that is such a good point to make. With Bran, with Arya, mostly those two. When he writes for them, like, you see the child in them, and it's amazing that George can put himself in all these different characters' minds. I really enjoy that. How about you, Lady Tauriel?
I like the fact that he was very incensed about the comments made about Holder.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the cruelty of the two boys in the yard. And that carries through to other things, shall we say.
Yes, little and big Walder are very good representations, right, of the Walders.
Yes, and
what they do later. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's later on. It's also like she said, fun to listen to how a child's mind perceives things. And he's looking to do the right thing and be the prince, and trying not to put a wrong foot, shall we say, forward in the meeting with all these lords. Right.
And as you're talking about lords, this picture I brought up before, this is Lord Manderley. I always screw this up that way. Lord Manderley is a very large man. Originally, their house is a southern house that ran from somebody. They actually had their lands were on the Manderley, which is a river down south. They fled. No one would accept them until they got to the north, and the Starks actually protected them. And that something is said in this chapter. I don't know if we've gotten to that point yet. That sets that up for later, but they're very devoted to the Starks.
It's also interesting that a man that big has a fork as a sigil.
Right.
Oh no, that's mean.
Right. That's funny. Oh, that's horrible.
He does train a lot, though. You can see some of it in the picture. He's doing diddly squats.
Yeah, he's doing little diddly squats there.
Yeah,
look at him holding himself up. That's strong legs. Look at them calves. You can see them kind of.
Yeah. Now, if I'm correct, isn't this the first introduction we get to the crazy boy?
Well, first introduction to the Manderleys, Lord Manderley. First time we hear about Ramsay Bolton. I don't know. Maybe they say the bastard of the the Dreadfort. And then we also hear about Reek.
Mm-hmm. And both Ramsay, Reek, and Manderley are important later on.
Yes. We get introduced to Lady Hornwood, who, if you've read the books before, you start to feel bad for her. Like the minute you start reading this, you don't realize her story. That's one of the tragic ones. But, Roderick puts it best. She should be thinking about marrying again, because right now you could see different groups vying for her marriage to get her lands, which is between, I believe, is it between the Umbers and White Harbor? She's somewhere right around there, right?
Mhm.
I thought she was near the Boltons.
Yeah, Ramsay covets her lands. Yes, that Ramsay.
Yes, Ramsay does covet her lands, but I know her lands are close also to White Harbor. I want to say that's why everybody wants to vie for it. Like she's like kind of would be a buffer between the Hornwood lands have been a buffer between certain larger houses.
Yeah, and you also feel sorry for her because you see that how much a woman, unless she has a strong army behind her, is used.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very valid point. The women, at least definitely at the beginning of our books, are a lot of the times just tools, and men try to trade them, or use them or abuse them in this medieval type of setting. So I think that's a valid point to put out there.
Oh, the good old days. What?
Oh.
Sorry.
The good old days. God, we missed out. We were born too young, huh? Real quick, Nina Infinity in the house. Not Tina Infinity. She's Tina Bojan somewhere. But I love the name change. Runners in the house. Shane says Peaks and Tauriels, I think, from the World Book. Yeah, I don't remember if they actually know exactly who ran them out. Lasso of Truth is laughing. Everybody's saying hi to Tina. Manderleys and Boltons. Yeah, so it is between the Manderleys and the Boltons. The Hornwood lands is in the middle of that. So proceed, guys. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure we knew that because it's kind of important. What did you guys... Okay, let me ask you this question, Teresa. Bran at the beginning of this chapter. I sense like he wants to shirk his responsibilities. He knows he can't. He'd rather be in the yard with the other guys. He wants to be a knight.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of that part in the Game of Thrones book when before he had his accident. That was the whole plan, that Sansa was gonna marry Joffrey and he was gonna be head of the King's Guard.
Right.
And that's what he wanted to do. And saying, he wanted, what does it say here in the synopsis? It's saying he always wanted to be a knight, not a prince. But now,
wait a minute. Did he literally say he wanted to be the head of the King's Guard?
Don't quote me on that. It was something I thought I recalled from Game of Thrones.
Might be foreshadowing right there.
Oh, interesting. Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at Game of Thrones, but I seem to recall that being something mentioned. But for sure,
it's just that slight spoiler. Later on, the head of the King's Guard might not have a head.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. Hey, guys, please make sure you share out the stream. I guess notifications are running a little bit behind. It's not even showing that we're live on my own stream. So please check that out if you guys don't mind. One thing, though.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No. Please. You're my guest. Go ahead.
And then also talking about how now he's just, boring old prince that has to sit and listen to old men. And they said again, now that he is broken.
Right.
Poor little boy.
I know. And they also bring up Hodor. Hodor being would be a great knight for his size. But because he's simpleton, I think that's a little foreshadowing too. For people that don't know, in the north, there are no knights other than the Manderleys. The Manderleys are the only house, because they are a southern house, that follow the seven. That's kind of like what people that are devout to the seven, they have knights. They are, the Andals. The Andals were the ones that brought the seven over from Essos. they are the knightly type of groups. Up in the north, the old gods, no one considers that an important title to have. You're just known for your battle abilities. We get to see Little and Big Walder being pricks.
Yeah. Someone
Yeah,
needs
definitely.
to smack those little boys.
Right.
I think it's a sad commentary because he wants to be a child and he's only 8.
Yeah.
And he has to take on all this responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
When you see him going across the yard.
Yes. You could almost sense his like the dread of having to do it, like the sadness. Like I feel like George really emotes that. Like you could feel how, like I almost feel like his arms, his shoulders are hunched over, like gotta go be a lordling. I find that very interesting. I find it very cool that we're seeing how the North is, like you said, Teresa. We're seeing like the actual politics of the North and how the North is being run, at least now with King Robb. Before we didn't see any of that with Ned, except for like a beheading or something like that. But now we're actually seeing the day-to-day issues they have to deal with. I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's the kind of stuff that I really dig.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And that widow, I don't recall her from the TV show, so she might be new. She's definitely new to me. I was quite intrigued by her.
Yeah, I want to say I don't believe she was in the show.
Yeah, and I don't know if she's going to be a player or not, but
yeah, that's a story we would definitely spoil if we talk too much about. So you'll see, though. Why don't we read some more of this, the rest of this chapter synopsis, and we can really get into the chapter a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, Stig.
Okay. After she leaves, Maester Lewin points out Lady Hornwood's hint, which makes Sir Roderick uncomfortable. Bran notes that she is sad. Sir Roderick adds that she is also gentle and not unattractive, but still a threat to the realm. Bran is incredulous, but the Maester explains that without a direct heir, there will be many claims to her lands, which Robb must adjudicate as a liege lord. When Bran suggests Sir Roderick, the old Castellan replies that he is only a knight and too old. When he dies, the problem would resurface. Thinking of his own half-brother, Bran suggests Lord Hornwood's 12-year-old bastard, Laren Snow. Lord Roderick doubts that will please Lady Hornwood, but Maester Lewin insists they consider it. So basically, they want a 40-year-old something to marry a 12-year-old. Okay. Bran asks to be excused, and Sir Roderick agrees, saying he did well. There are still a few hours of daylight, so Bran goes to the God's Wood to visit Summer. He has Hodor take him to his favorite place by the pool near the heart tree. Suddenly, a naked Usha explodes out of the cold pool, startling everyone. When Bran asks about the cold, Usha says she likes it. She notices Bran staring at her and asks if he has never seen a naked woman. Bran has bathed with his sisters and seen serving women bathing, but Usha is hard and covered in scars, which she tells him were earned fighting men, mostly Night's Watch. She even killed one. She mentions overhearing that the Walders mocked Hodor. Bran recalls that Hodor never fights and says that Septon Chael says Hodor is a gentle spirit. Osha replies that little Walder is well named, big outside, little inside, and mean to the bones. Then she asks if Bran has had any more wolf dreams. When he says no, Osha declares a prince should lie better and begs his leave before hurrying back to the kitchens. That night, Bran dreams of a weirwood calling to him and a three-eyed crow pecking at his face. He wakes to clamor of the arrival of the Umbers from beyond the last river. The next day, he greets their leaders, two of the Great John Umber's uncles, Mor's Umber and Hother Umber, known as Horsebane for reasons no one will tell Bran. Morse immediately asks to wed Lady Hornwood. Lewin and Roderick explains she's grieving but promises to consider it. Hother asks for longships to stop wildling raids across the Bay of Seals. Sir Roderick recommends Hother cooperate with Lord Manderley to provide lumber and receive shipwrights and sailors. During the audience, the steward of Deepwood Mott arrives with apologies from Lady Sybil Glover, who is tending to her young children. Bran quickly realizes the steward is the true ruler, while Lord Galbert Glover and his brother Robert Glover are away fighting. After discussing the harvest, Sir Roderick questions the steward about Laren's snow, and afterwards Maester Lewin praises Bran's notion of making the bastard heir to the Hornwood, and says he will make a good lord for Winterfell one day. Bran protests that Rob's sons, with his Frey girl, will be lords instead of him, but Sir Roderick points out that nothing is certain. He has only his daughter Beth, despite 3 marriages, and his brother Martin Cassell's line died with his son Jory, despite having 4 sons. The next day, Leopold Tallheart from Thorin Square, who arrived the day before, has his audience. He brings word that his nephew Benfred Tallheart is raising his own company of young lancers who all think themselves another young wolf. Leopold dismissed them as young rabbits once. So now they call themselves the Wild Hares. Bran remembers Benfred visiting Winterfell and being friendly with Robb and Theon Greyjoy. Clearly displeased, Sir Roderick orders that Benfred is to remain at Torrens Square as commanded. Then Leopold mentions that his own wife, Berenna, was sister to Lord Hallis Hornwood, and suggests sending his younger son Beren, Tolkien reference right there, to foster with Lady Hornwood, saying he may even take up the Hornwood name if made heir. Bran has learned the proper answer and promises to bring up the matter with Robb and Lady Hornwood. After the audience, Maester Lewin states that he likes the idea, but Sir Roderick thinks it will be hard for a boy to hold the lands. Lewin admits that with the Riverlands now part of the kingdom, it may be best to wed to one of the lords of the Trident. In the days that follows, ravens arrive with regrets from other houses. The bastard Ramsay Snow will not be joining them. The Mormonts, the Karstarks have all gone south. Lord Andrew Locke is too old. Lady Liessa Flint is too pregnant, and there is sickness at Widow's Watch. That leaves just Lord Howland Reed, who has not left the swamps in 16 years, and House Serwyn, whose Lord Maegor Serwyn is captive by the Lannisters. Then, one blustery day, 14-year-old Clay Serwyn arrives with a dozen lancers while Bran is riding Dancer in the yard. Clay has always been a friend to Bran and his brothers, and he immediately asks if Stannis Baratheon wrote Winterfell about Joffrey Baratheon being ill-born. Bran suddenly feels like a giant hand is crushing his chest. When Clay asks if he is all right, Bran declares that Robb will beats Stannis too. That night, he does not have the dreamless sleep he prayed for. The three-eyed crow pecks out his eyes, telling him to fly. Then the crow pecks his brow until it pecks through his skull, and then, suddenly, Bran can see again. He's climbing a tower, slipping. He calls for help, and a golden man appears above him, saying, the things I do for love, and then tossing him out into empty air.
Woo, that is a long summary, but a good one, my friend. Thank you very much. There is a lot going on in this chapter, man. This is a big chapter. Hi to Sonny Frank. Thank you for stopping in the Time Prophet. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But what a chapter. Who would like to start? How about Stig? Why don't you, what do you think about what you just read? The whole chapter and all.
Well, they're setting the stage a lot for what's going on in the north when the rest of the people went south, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting also that Bran kind of clutched his chest when Stannis and Joffrey got mentioned.
Yep, panic attack.
Yeah. Not sure what that means. It could have something to do with Stannis. It could have something to do with the Lannisters. It could have something to do with Joffrey beheading Ned. You know, all kinds of stuff there.
Yeah. I feel like the dream answers that question, though. It's like he doesn't remember why it scares him, but hearing that he's illegitimate scares him. I think that's the connection I got when I read it.
Yeah, might be. And what else? Howland Reed is mentioned again. He was mentioned in book 1, I think, as well.
Yeah,
he keeps being brought up, same as Benjen.
Yep.
So
yep,
16
years.
Yeah, two of the mysteries of the series.
Yes. In one chapter.
And, they suggested a 12-year-old marry a 40-something-year-old lady, and all of them thought it was a good idea. And then the next day, they tried to move on with it, which is disturbing as heck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It's like, I can't have any more kids, but I can marry one.
Right. And pretty much he'll become the heir. Like, that's really the only reason. So he's an heir.
Mm-hmm.
And when she dies, he could maybe, have a kid with somebody else.
If I'm correct, though, hopefully we're not talking about if that were a marriage, it would not be consummated. I'm correct.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. At least for the 7, right? The 7, you have to consummate the night of your wedding to make it legit for the Septons and the for the religion. I don't know about the North if you have to consummate it, but I believe so. What do you think, Stig or Tauriel? Do you have to?
I don't know. I think maybe that was why they suggested it, because she can't have any more children, and that he could remarry and have children and be the heir.
Right. I think I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I
agree
felt.
with that.
Hoped.
We learn a lot about what's going on. A very important thing with the Manderleys and the Umbers. Rob making them work together with wood from the Umbers and ships being built by the Manderleys. That's something to always remember. Again, something kind of just in this chapter that you wonder about for a while. So that's an important one. What else?
Well, I just love the way that we once again got that little flashback right at the very, very end.
Yep. Shane Nolan says, I thought they were suggesting the bastard was named as the heir, as in a foster son, not a husband.
No, that was from the other family.
Right.
Yeah.
The right of the first night, he's right. Yeah, they still bang. Go ahead, Lady Tauriel.
I think maybe him clutching his chest was showing the foreboding he was feeling that he would have another dream, and that sparked the dream.
Yep. Definitely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Because he's afraid of those dreams.
He is. And the dreams give him answers. That's a really good idea. I like that. Now this goes to my theory. God, am I allowed to talk about this? I guess not. But so you have Bran dreaming about a weirwood tree that speaks, and a crow, a three-eyed crow that speaks. Two separate entities. That's all I'm saying. Two separate ones.
Oh,
I believe two separate ones.
Understand.
I think Sporking is right, unless George Martin has simply made a mistake in the writing.
Right. And does he?
I don't think he would make that big of a mistake. No.
Right. And a lot of people, I've had people disagreeing with me for years about this. I truly believe two separate.
Yeah.
A lot of foreshadowing.
Yep. And let's just say the white weirwood tree is with red leaves relates to a guy we know in a tree. The three-eyed crow, I have no clue yet, but that's somebody.
Red leaves would be like 1,000 eyes.
Yes, that are red. Exactly. I love that we try to keep it from being a spoiler thing, but that's that one. When you guys are reading this, if anybody's watching this in the future or haven't read these chapters yet, just keep an eye on those. And then when later on, we'll discuss when Bran meets a certain person, that first conversation. There was some other stuff I definitely wanted to talk about. Sir Roderick bringing up the importance of the Stark in Winterfell. It's a saying that they use, like there always has to be a Stark in Winterfell. There always has to be a Lord of Winterfell, no matter what's going on. And it keeps this peace in the North, knowing there's a Stark in Winterfell. But I believe that saying is much, much older of a saying and lost its true purpose, what a Stark in Winterfell means.
Oh.
I'm not sure what it could mean though.
Huh?
No, so sorry, Tauriel. She was speaking.
No, that's okay. Go ahead with your thought.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm not sure what it could mean though, even if it's old.
I have a theory on that, but I can't really say right now.
Uh-huh.
It would be farther on.
Okay, when we get done with it, we're talking.
Tell us when we're off air afterwards.
And if you have to leave early, write it in the private chat. I got to know. The wall's kind of like a yellow, but I guess I could do that when my new computer comes in, Time Prophet. Shane says, yes, he was a foster son of the Glovers, but a bastard can inherit if they are not true-born siblings. The fact he is placed with the Glovers is politically important. Okay. When's the next theory night? We might have to have one like next week because we haven't had a theory one in a long time. Lasso Truth agrees. Thank you. My theory is that it has magical significance, like with Storm's End. Hold that thought, Shane. We used to do two separate shows, our book club and our theory show. We stopped doing the theory show every week. I think next week I'm going to work on some theories to talk about. So make sure you're here for that because I think it'll be important.
We can do we can do the book and the theory show though.
Yeah, we could do like maybe 1 or 2 chapters. I just don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, we can do like book talk on Monday and theory on Tuesday or something.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Because I like these shows. So if there's more of them, it's better.
Oh, I'm down with that, dude. Clay Kerwin. We get Clay Kerwin and OSHA. Clay Kerwin's like the only friend Bran has. They make a point of saying he's 14. Is that just so we know he's young, but yet too young to go with Robb? Like, I was always wondering why they threw his age out there, like the importance. I think it might just be he's almost Bran's age, a little bit older, but.
Well, wouldn't kids think that? He's my friend. He's 14.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, you're right. We hear about the Tall Hearts, the Glovers, the Flints. We hear about the Karstarks. There's so many named houses in this chapter. We hear about Horsebane and Crowfood.
Caught a Tolkien reference too, Baron, from Baron and Luthien.
Oh, yeah.
Nice catch.
I didn't even think about that. That's actually really, yeah. We hear Osha talk about Little Walder. Now, I have a feeling Osha's a lot like Old Nan. What she says is important. And she states that Little Walder is well named, big outside, little inside, and mean to the bone. That may come up later in the stories.
I thought it was weird that Osha said she likes the cold, though.
Right. I was thinking about that too, man.
Yeah, it might be nothing, but, makes me a bit suspicious.
Right. Yeah. Hold on to that one.
Because we don't know anything about her except stuff she says.
Right.
So she could be a spy for all we know.
Yeah.
For someone. We don't know anything.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I haven't thought of that a lot, but we know nothing about her. You're absolutely right.
And we never meet anyone that knows her.
Right, because they died. Even the people that kind of knew her.
I think she's going to have a big part in book 6.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it. She's that whole storyline she's on, and then Davos, they're gonna connect hopefully at some point in the next book. So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, I suspect that part of the story might be really effed up.
Oh no.
Yeah, you got a valid point. And once again, I definitely believe he has PTSD when it comes to that letter. And I like the idea that it sparked the dream that he was trying to fight. I think that's interesting. And it pecks out he blinds him and then pecks his forehead, but then he can see. So open up that third eye, right?
Yeah.
Yikes.
But that's all I got for this one. You guys got anything else?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I think.
Right. Just remember the three-eyed crow is the one that tells him fly or die. Like, fly or die. I have a feeling the three-eyed crow is not what we think. But that's for another story. All right. Am I doing Tyrion? I think I'm doing the next chapter, right?
All
right.
I think.
Or are you?
I volunteered. You can read it if you want to.
No, I do not want to. Thank you. I usually go robo when I read, so go right ahead. Teresa, whenever you're ready, Tyrion 4.
Okay. Oh, darn. Of course, it just disappeared. Damn you.
Hello, my darling. Hello, my
There
baby.
it is. I found it. Okay.
There we go.
It clicked off on my phone. During breakfast, Tyrion asks Grand Maester Pycelle to send his serving girl away and hands him 2 sealed copies of a secret letter for Prince Doran Martell. He insists Pycelle send his swiftest birds immediately. Breakfast will keep, but the realm may not, with Lord Renly Baratheon leading his host up the Rose Road, and no one knowing when Lord Stannis Baratheon will sail from Dragonstone. Pycelle moves ponderously to obey, and Tyrion notes that his master's chain is far more ornate than the standard. Tyrion has plenty of time to finish part of his breakfast before he sees the ravens take off. He then inspects Pycelle's well-organized potion and steals a small bottle from the high shelf. He is back eating when the Maester returns to inquire about the message, but Tyrion insists it is best kept a secret. When Pycelle suggests the matter to the small council, Tyrion replies that the council exists to advise King Joffrey, who is only 13. When asked about the queen, Tyrion replies that Cersei carries a great weight already, and Pycelle reluctantly agrees it is best not to add to her burden, given the frailty of her sex. Tyrion wonders what Eddard Stark would think of that description, but says nothing and asks to be informed secretly when a reply comes from Dorm. As he departs, Tyrion thinks to himself, 1. In the lower bailey, Tyrion finds Bronn, who is now armored as befits his role as captain of the Hands Guard, watching the men-of-arms practice. He jokingly notes that Bronn is paying no attention to a pair of pretty serving girls. Bronn replies that he can buy all the sex he wants, but one day his vigilance could save his life. He points out that the hedge knight named Sir Talad is the best, but he falls into a rhythm that will be his death when he faces Bronn. As they close the bailey, Bronn informs Tyrion that 30 supplicants await him, including Lady Tonda Stokeworth's page, with an invitation to supper. Lady Tonda thinks Tyrion would be the perfect consort for her soft, dim-witted daughter, Lollis, and is plying him with food. Tyrion tells Bronn to send his regrets. There is also a money letter from Braavos wanting repayment of a loan. Tyrion orders him directed to Littlefinger, who will find a way to put him off. Another supplicant is a minor lordling from the Trident, who wants recompense for the destruction done to his land. Seeing the value of a compliant river lord, Tyrion promises to make time for him tomorrow and orders him given good quarters, a meal, and new boots, courtesy of King Joffrey. There are also many food merchants who want protection from the hungry mobs who recently roasted a baker in his own oven for overcharging. Tyrion suggests gold cloaks, but Bronn notes there were gold cloaks in the mob, and the merchants demand to see the king. Tyrion calls them fools, since Joffrey would send them off with whips and spears. Bronn also reports that Sir Alistair Thorne of the Night's Watch has arrived with a rotten hand. Tyrion recalls his distaste for the man and orders him given a dirty cell and left waiting. After Bronn departs to carry out his orders, Tyrion encounters Cersei and her retinue by the main gate. When he asks where she is going, Cersei claims she's going to inspect the defenses in light of Renly marching from Highgarden. She believes he could arrive by the full moon, but Tyrion assures her that Renly is traveling too slowly and stopping to feast and hold court at a different castle each night. Tyrion is dubious that Renly actually has the rumored 100,000 men, but Cersei snaps that he has all the power of Storm's End and Highgarden. Only House Redwine has held back, and that is thanks to her taking the twins Horace and Halber captive. Tyrion retorts that it is a shame she let Sir Loras Tyrell slip away, and points out Renly has Robb Stark at Riverrun and Tywin Lannister at Harrenhal to concern him. He adds that he would do the same as Renly. Progress slowly, flaunt his power, watch and wait. If Robb defeats Tywin, the South will fall into Renly's hands like a windfall. And if Tywin defeats Robb, Renly can attack the weakened Lannister. I don't know if we want to pause maybe not here. Maybe.
Yeah, you choose.
Yeah.
Wherever
Okay.
you want to pause. These are a couple long ones.
Yeah, just because this is this one is quite a long one. Let's see. I'm gonna continue just a little further. Ignoring oh, dagnabbit. If Rob defeats Tywin, the South will fall into Renly's hand like a windfall, and if Tywin defeats Rob, Renly can attack the weakened Lannister host. Cersei demands Tyrion make their father bring his army to King's Landing, but Tyrion points out that he has never been able to make Lord Tywin do anything. Ignoring this answer, she asks what he is doing to free Jaime, who is worth 100 of Tyrion. Tyrion quips that they do not have 100 of him to trade to Catelyn Stark. Angered, Cersei declares him worse than useless and leaves. In truth, Tyrion fears Stannis twice as much as Renly. Renly is beloved but inexperienced in war, while Stannis is cold, hard, and inexorable. The spies sent to Dragonstone are ominously silent, though Lysene war galleys have been spotted and Varys reported sail captains taking service with Dragonstone. If Stannis and Renly attack together by sea and land, there will be no chance for Joffrey or himself. Okay, I think this is a good place to pause because there's a lot back there.
What do we think about this one, guys? What's going on in your heads? A lot going on. Well, we can always... Yeah, go ahead, Teresa, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, just a lot of what we're really seeing about how they really, truly are in a bad state. That, first of all, the people, I guess, are starving to the point of where they put a cook into an oven to punish him because he was charging too much. So you have that unrest. And I heard an urgency going on in Tyrion about what's going on with Renly and Stannis, that he's very well aware that he may be FUCKED, that they are actually in a very perilous situation. And Cersei's like, bring daddy. But I don't know. It's bad.
Right. And I agree with you on that. What about you, Stig? What do you think about that?
Well, there's a lot of it's kind of like almost like a tactical chapter so far. You know, you're talking about where the pieces are and what will happen if this piece does that, and all kinds of stuff like that. Also interesting that Tyrion makes a little discreet stab, I guess, or subtle stab at Cersei for having let Sir Loras leave.
Right.
So Cersei is a bit like Catelyn. She could have prevented a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But her, I guess, ego gets in the way. A little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Her love for Jaime, and everything's all about Jaime.
Yeah.
Right. Which is later on. Yeah. Right now, yes. Everything's about Jaime. You're absolutely right. Lady Tauriel, what did you see with the beginning of that one?
It's pieces on a chessboard, and his strategy is he wants the power, not Cersei, and he's slyly taking it away from her.
Right.
Because he knows she's crazy. All she can see is revenge. And if she'd have had her way, instead of them being captives, she probably would have killed them, except she needed them as pawns to get what she wants.
Right.
But she also wants the reinforcement, because she also fears what's going on
Right.
at the keep. And Tyrion sees the bigger plan. And she's very me.
Yes. Yes.
She doesn't see beyond that.
Right. Yeah, I like that too. Like Tyrion is definitely playing chess. You know, he realizes, unlike Ned Stark, that even though he is planning for different attacks on King's Landing, he also has to play the Game of Thrones within King's Landing, which is a lot by itself. And you also have a war you're planning for. Culture Casino for 149. I'm guessing it's a Doomacorn. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate it. Check out Culture Casino. He has a great channel. He's killing it right now. And he's a good friend, and he has helped me build my computer, which I should get in a few weeks. I like the part with Braun. You know, I like where he says, talks about looking at the girl, and Braun replies that he can buy all the sex he wants, but one day his vigilance could save his life. And right after that, they start talking about Lady Tonda Stokeworth's daughter, Simpleton daughter. You know, as long as it's funny because as long as Braun's vigilant, Tyrion should be all right. But if a woman gets in the way, you know, Braun won't be there to help him.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Culture Casino is awesome. Lasso of Truth. The dude is great, and he's real. He's like just that's the type of person he is. He's just a good dude. Yeah. I like how he thinks about Eddard Stark at the beginning of it.
Yeah, once again, Pycelle at least underestimating the woman. I felt in a way that because Ned Stark was underestimating her, he had a preset idea of her because of her gender, and Pycelle said the same thing, and Tyrion's like, no, don't be thinking like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
At your own peril.
Yeah, but Tyrion is always on point with that.
Yep.
You know, like he does not. He knows his sister isn't. He knows she's dangerous for her own reasons. You know. You know, I love how I want to go back for a second. How they talked about, you know, the merchants want to go and complain to Joffrey, and he's like, "Oh God, all they'll end up is getting pretty much beaten and whipped and hurt." I do like, you know, you hear about Braavos wanting to get repaid. So again, you're hearing little things about how things work right now in King's Landing, just like we heard about in the North. What were you going to say, my friend Stig?
Yeah, so something struck me that, you know, all the Lannister kids are dangerous, right? But Jaime is dangerous in the immediate sense because he's a swordmaster, right?
Yeah.
Cersei is, you know, dangerous within the week, you know, because she picks a target and goes for it, but she doesn't think long term, right? Because it tends to backfire on her later on. Tyrion is absolutely long term.
Okay.
He's almost never immediately dangerous. He's dangerous way down the road when he gets you back. Right.
Yeah, you know what? That's absolutely correct. Like Cersei and Jaime, they don't think they're playing checkers. You know what I mean? Like only a couple jumps ahead. If that. Jaime, just that jump. Cersei, maybe a jump or two, maybe gets kinged. But Tyrion's playing chess. He is literally thinking about the whole board of Westeros. I like how that's a great comment there, man. I didn't think of it that way.
Yep. And there's actually further on, even though Stannis has come up, those two remind me of sitting across a chessboard together, if you think about it.
Right. And kind of doesn't, we have Tyrion kind of admitting that too. You know, he's not really worried about Renly. He's worried about Stannis.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Tywin, didn't he mention that too? That out of all the new kings,
Oh yeah, yep.
That Stannis was twice the threat of every of the other ones.
Right. And I do love how, where was that? How he talks about Stannis. In truth, Tyrion fears Stannis twice as much as Renly. Renly is beloved but inexperienced in war, while Stannis is cold, hard, and inexorable. How do you say that?
Inexorable.
Oh,
Or
what does that mean?
Inexorable. Inexorable.
Do we know what that means?
Yes, but I'm going to feel very self-conscious if I get it wrong.
Okay, I'm going to the dictionary. Going to the dictionary.
Yeah.
I got to figure that one out because I was like, when you said it, I'm like, I actually do not know what that means. And I learned that usually I will stop in a story and look up stuff so I don't misconstrue what they were trying to say.
Yeah, it means impossible to stop or prevent.
Oh, okay. All right.
Stannis has the best personality traits ever.
Yes. Real quick, Toxic Man Flew for $2. I love when Scott tries to be serious. I actually had to explain that to a couple people that just started watching my channel, that Monday nights I'm kind of serious, but Wednesday and Saturday, it's all no holds barred, pants off type stream. So I appreciate that you noticed that, you jerk.
Pants off? Wait, what the
Pants
hell
off
is going on?
Means anything goes. Anything goes.
Oh,
Toxic
okay,
Man
I took you literally.
Yeah. No. My pants are on. Shane Nolan. Stannis overcame the Tyrells in the rebellion, and the Greyjoys in the Greyjoy rebellion, defeated them at sea. He is the only person in this era that we have heard beat the Greyjoys at sea. He's the only one up to this point that we know of in the story that has beaten the Greyjoys at sea. They are masters of the ocean. That is a big deal. And he had a smaller armada, or I wouldn't even call it armada. They had the armada. He just used the terrain around him really well.
Which is foreshadowing, probably.
Right.
Big time. I mean,
right.
Something to think about for the theory stream if we talk about.
Oh, we're doing the theory. I decided, guys, we're going to finish with this one because there were 2 long chapters, and we'll do Sansa next week plus a theory stream. So that's what we'll end up doing because I'm looking forward to a theory stream myself. What else did we go over just now? Let's see. So Tyrion, we didn't even say it. Tyrion gave Maester Parcell an envelope, a sealed envelope, that he wants to be sent to Dorne.
Yeah, and he said 1.
Right.
When he left. Important to keep track of that.
Keep that in mind, right? Yeah, I almost actually screwed that up. I was about to say the whole thing. But yes, he gives him tells him about the needing to get a hold of Dorne. Does he actually say why at the beginning of this, or is that towards the end?
He didn't say why. So
right. So
we haven't talked.
It's just a letter, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the show where he explains it to each person, like each person gets an explanation. Here, he just gives them a letter and sees what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's I kind of got that one.
Don't quote me on this because this is virgin territory for me. I don't know a lot about this because I have no idea what this one thing means. So I don't know if that's a book thing, a movie, or TV thing. I forgot, but I have no idea.
Well, there's another question. It didn't come up in this summary, but it was at the beginning of this chapter. Maester Parcell. I always want to say Parcells, like the coach. Parcells. You kind of see the different herbs and poisons and all these remedies he has.
Yes.
One being the Strangler. And then Tyrion ends up taking a bottle, but we don't know of what.
Oh,
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I forget that. I was just so fascinated by all the different poisons. I thought that was fun. I like
Yeah. Very interesting part. If you haven't read that, you should really go back and check that out, guys. It's interesting. What do you think it is? Could we say it here or not?
No, that would be a spoiler.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd say it's a Walton commercial.
Exactly. That's what I thought too. But it's meant to make you also think it could have been something else for the next book, I believe, when he gets in trouble. So that's why I thought that was pretty interesting. I never realized that because I thought the same thing when I first read it, Stig. Anything else we just went over, or we want to finish the summary?
Yeah, I think we've covered that. I mean, yeah, and then the second part's when he goes on with Littlefinger.
Yeah. Right. All we know is that he wants Littlefinger to deal with Braavos, which I thought was interesting too. Again, hearing about the politics and the day-to-day running of a city, I find interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But if nobody has anything else, we'll jump on to the summary. Lady Tauriel, you good?
Yeah, the only thing that I found interesting with Littlefinger is stealing from Peter to pay Paul and how it's increased the coffers.
Right. I think that's what we're going to go over right now. So hold on to that thought. I want to talk about that definitely. Thank you. But Teresa, whenever you are ready, because that is important to remember.
Okie dokie. Podrick Payne meets Tyrion at the door of his solar and shyly informs him that Peter Baelish is inside. He finds Littlefinger seated by the window, watching Joffrey kill hares with his new crossbow in the yard below, because apparently he's going to be a serial killer when he grows up. Observing Joffrey's poor aim, Littlefinger quips that the hares are winning and advises Pod to invest in pots, since the castle will soon be overrun with hares and they will be eating potted hare for every meal. Tyrion dismisses Pod and offers Littlefinger refreshment. Littlefinger politely declines, noting that he has heard to drink with Tyrion is to risk being sent to the wall. Tyrion compliments Littlefinger on his clothing and notes a Valyrian steel dagger with the dragonbone hilt. There is mischief in Littlefinger's eyes when he responds that it's a trifle plain and offers it to Tyrion as a gift. Tyrion refuses, infuriated that Littlefinger knows why he mentioned the dagger and is mocking him because he thinks Tyrion cannot touch him. Tyrion reflects that his brother Jaime is famous for his gilded steel armor, but if ever a man truly armed himself in gold, it is Littlefinger. 10 years ago, Jon Arryn gave him a minor position in customs, where he soon tripled the revenue. Within 3 years, he was master of coin, and now the crown's revenues are 10 times what they were. The crown's debts have grown vast too, but Littlefinger is a master juggler and borrows, so he can put the gold to work. He invests in wagons, shops, ships, houses, agribusiness, textiles, money lending, and the gold dragons breed and multiply. At the same time, Littlefinger moved his own men into place. The king's counter, the king's scales, all 4 keepers of the keys, and the officers managing the 3 mints are his. As well, 9 of every 10 among as the harbor masters, tax farmers, custom agents, wool factors, toll collectors, pursers, and wine factors. All of them are mostly men of middling birth, lesser lordlings, or even foreigners, but far more capable than the highborns they replaced. No one questioned the appointments because Littlefinger is perceived as harmless without soldiers, holdings, or marriage prospects. Yet Tyrion is unsure if he can touch him. Tyrion asks how close Littlefinger was with the Tully children during his fostering at River Run. Littlefinger boasts that he took both girls' maidenheads, which Tyrion considers a very smooth lie. Tyrion explains that Catelyn and Lysa would refuse any offer he might make, but they might trust Littlefinger. He adds that he hopes to sway the more tractable Lysa by offering her Jon Arryn's true killer. Intrigued, Littlefinger asks who, but Tyrion only says that Lysa would have to understand he only gives gifts to his friends, meaning she must first ally with the Lannisters. Littlefinger points out that Lysa has her own woes, such as the Vale Mountain clans, who are now more aggressive and better armed thanks to Tyrion. Tyrion promises to use his influence to call off the clansmen if Lysa declares for Joffrey. Littlefinger insists Lysa will never make war on the Starks or Tullys, but Tyrion assures him Lysa's power would only be used to oppose Renly or Stannis. In return, Tyrion will give her justice, peace, name her son Warden of the East, and wed his niece, Princess Myrcella, to little Lord Robert Arryn. Littlefinger asks what Cersei thinks of the ploy and laughs when Tyrion only shrugs. Then Littlefinger asks what his reward will be, and Tyrion promises him Harrenhal and supremacy over the Riverlands as their liege lord. Littlefinger's reaction amuses Tyrion. By birth, he holds only a few stony acres on the fingers, but Harrenhal is one of the realm's richest domains. Littlefinger is suspicious, especially considering that Janos Slynt has also received Harrenhal for his good service, but Tyrion assures him that he is more valuable than Slynt. Appeased, Littlefinger notes that he will likely have to bed Lysa again to get her consent, and asks for a fortnight to prepare. As Littlefinger departs, Tyrion thinks to himself, too. Oh, for feck's sake, I figured. Never mind, it all comes into place. Duh. This is what happens. I was listening to this on audio thing, so...
Right.
Continuing. Next, Tyrion heads to his bedchamber to await Varys. An hour later, Galt announces the eunuch's arrival much sooner than Tyrion expected. Varys quips that Tyrion was cruel to taunt Pycelle with a secret, but Tyrion accuses Varys of the same thing and offers to tell him. Varys suggests his little birds may already have told him. Tyrion hopes to dissuade Dorne from joining another faction, even though Prince Doran's hatred for House Lannister is well known. Tyrion points out that much is obvious. Varys notes that Prince Doran is a sentimental man who still mourns his murdered sister Elia. Tyrion reveals he has offered Doran a council seat in his sister's killer. Varys points out that Sir Gregor Clegane, who is known to have murdered Elia, is a Lannister bannerman, but Tyrion argues that Lord Tywin will agree 50,000 Dornishmen are worth one rabid dog. When Varys wonders aloud what might happen if Doran demands the blood of the Lord who gave the command as well, Tyrion blames Robert Baratheon, since it was his rebellion. Varys points out Robert was not at King's Landing, but Tyrion replies that neither was Doran Martell. Varys notes that Doran will want a token of good faith as well, and asks who Tyrion will offer. Tyrion turns the question back on Varys, who declares it must be Tommen, since Tyrion cannot offer Myrcella to Doran Martell and Lysa both. Varys' uncanny knowledge leads Tyrion to quip that he cheats at guessing games. Varys calls Tommen a good boy, and Tyrion comments that he might even grow into a good man if they get him away from Cersei and Joffrey soon enough. Varys acts suspicious that Tyrion might mean to make Tommen king, but Tyrion insists Joffrey is king. Varys points out there is a flaw in the scheme named Cersei, who will never consent to part with both Tommen and Myrcella. Tyrion says that Cersei does not know what Cersei does not know will not hurt him. When Varys asks what will happen if she does learn of it, Tyrion declares that he would know the man who told her to be his certain enemy. When Varys giggles at that, Tyrion thinks to himself, free. Dun, dun, dun. Dun.
Thank you very much. So, who would like to start on that one? Lady Tauriel, you didn't get a lot on the other one, and you were talking about Littlefinger. So, if you'd like to discuss that, what do you think?
I think it's interesting that the least people, how they underestimate certain characters in these books. It's amazing to me. I love the behind the scenes, and that you need to pay very close attention to what is going on behind the scenes.
Right. Right. Now, you pointed out which one caught you in this chapter? Because there is a lot going on.
I love how the little birds, which is mentioned many, many times, and you're still wondering who his little birds are.
Right.
And Tyrion is always looking over his shoulder because he doesn't know between Littlefinger and Varys that where the little birds are and who the little birds are.
Right. Right. Or what Stig has said, what the little birds are. That one was pretty good, Stig.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We get a little more of Littlefinger's backstory. You know, his grandfather came over from Bravos as a kind of a hedge knight, then became a landed knight, not coming from much. The Fingers are very small peninsulas in the Erie, not known for their riches. And he worked his way up in Jon Arryn's court, and then was brought with Jon Arryn to King's Landing to work his way up into the royal court, which is, you got to give the guy credit. You know, he slithered his way up the ladder. And that's the one great line in the show that is not in the book. Chaos is a ladder. You know, I love that line. What do you think, Stig?
Well, I think this is one of the purest Tyrion chapters in the series. You get to see the little rat work, you know?
Yeah.
And he is being very conniving in this one. And we're going to find out very soon as well.
Yep.
There's
and I do.
Very big payoff to this one.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not that much except for that setup. It's Tyrion shining as the hand of the king,
playing the game like no other right now.
Yeah. And always fun to see when anyone interacts with Varys.
Yeah.
I'm very suspicious about that guy. I have my theories, but
yeah, I know you do. He's on a different level too, though.
Yeah.
Like almost like a magical level, if you think about it.
Could be.
He just knows everything, right?
Seems to. Yeah. I just can't wait for book 6.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I just can't wait to dive into it. And like I said, when book 6 comes out, everybody, we are putting a halt to the book club and we're going chapter by chapter, like one chapter a week, because I could see us really like sitting here and not saying a word for like 10 minutes after someone points something out in the chapter. It's going to be awesome. Might not be great YouTube, but I know I'm going to have a damn good time doing it.
You know, it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's always more fun when you're watching a YouTube channel and the people are talking about stuff they love rather than the latest Captain Marvel news or whatever it is.
Right. You know, I still have 2 shows that do that. I was thinking about getting rid of one of them because I just enjoy doing something I enjoy doing, and this, and I'm thinking about turning one of my dumps into a more of a kind of like what Final Death Star is doing right now, because we've discussed doing a show together about aliens, ancient history, stuff like that on my channel. But that's for another day. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I want to talk about the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, hey man, I'm down with that too.
There we go.
The Banshee. I mean, I swear by it. That chick is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Banshees are definitely real. Senator Sheev says, even though Tyrion has ample reason not trust Littlefinger, he can't bring himself to remove him and ends up trusting him like Ned Stark. Valid point. I do love in this chapter how we see the crack in Littlefinger's armor when he hears that he would be running he would be ruling over the Riverlands and Harrenhal. It's one of the only times, other than when he's around Sansa, where you see the real Littlefinger, maybe in a bit. I don't know.
The Tullys are in the Riverlands.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoy what I enjoy doing. Scott 2021. Thank you for the quote. Toxic man flew on fire. So you'll be showing pictures of yokels taking fuzzy pictures of hubcaps. Close to that. Shane Nolan, my grandmother used to tell stories about the Banshees. I'm from Ireland. She would whisper the word. Oh, wow.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Well, like I said, I grew up there. And
yeah.
I mean, I never believed in the Banshee until I return. And it's like, she's friggin' real. Well, not to tell you, I mean, my best friend's mother swears she saw her.
Right.
And yeah, and you don't say the name out loud, and you don't even say the word fairies. No, you don't. You say, you call them like the good folk or the people and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. I didn't realize that's why they're doing it. Okay.
Yeah, it's still the last time I was there was it's like just about a year ago. Absolutely, yeah.
The Banshee is absolutely real because one of them ran for president in the United States.
Oh wow!
Hey, don't talk about the Banshee like that.
Oh
yeah, she's not that evil. The real Banshee.
Yeah, she's not that bad. The white
no,
lady.
I bet you after she lost, you could hear that wail. Culture Casino for $5. Well, crap. I got to make another intro. 2 dumps a week is easy. Guys, did Scott use the new legible intro? I did. You took out writing at the beginning. The very beginning. I didn't see that writing, but I love how you have it red, but when the dragon blows fire, it turns to the dark color. That was cool. Thank you, my brother. It was really good. What was I going to say about this chapter just now? I totally blanked. We hear a little bit about Doran Martell and his him not wanting to the mistrust of the Lannisters. We get a little more about that. Mm-hmm. And Tyrion willing to, have the mountain sent to them, which, he's really thinking chess-wise, like one mad dog, which Tywin is one of his most devoted killers, or 50,000 Dornishmen, which I still think is kind of a big number for Dorne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was a really great chapter. This does have some ripple effect once this chapter's end game happens, which is interesting too. We also hear about Littlefinger talking about betting both Catelyn and Lysa. The man's delusional, but he believes his own lie, Teresa. I don't get it.
Littlefinger, I mean,
half lie.
Yeah, it's for. I mean, first of all, how dare he say that? I mean, part of me is like, he's talking about 2 ladies. I mean, technically, it's like when I say how dare, I mean, I'm thinking in universe. That's really a low, scummy thing to say.
And two ladies that are way high above his position. I mean, you're talking about and granted, times have changed for the Starks, but Catelyn is, husband was Lord Paramount of the North. Lysa is the West, and he's talking about them like, they're just some hoochies.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, I'm thinking maybe he's doing that on purpose because they have already shown that Littlefinger has great high regard for Catelyn. So maybe it's just part of a little facade he's trying to do. Right.
Also, that little bit of locker room like effect with another guy have to throw out, your conquests, even though to me it's only, at this moment we don't know if it's true or false. All we know is what he says, that he bedded them both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great chapter. Great chapter. Anything else, Lady Tauriel? You got anything else with this one?
No, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah. The only thing I can't say really quick is there is a part where like a lordling or someone comes for a lordling of the Trident area. It was from the Trident. I'm blanking right now, but they talk about how they need their support from Tyrion, that they were attacked. The people raped their mother, killed the men, stole from them, and Tyrion just is like, it's war. Like, he's so cold to people that I don't know, that aren't involved in his game. I don't know if you guys remember that part, but it was just something that kind of popped in my head when I read that part. Like, wow, Tyrion is a prick. Like, this person, like your family's getting raped and murdered, and he's just like, well, that's war. Like, if we win, you'll be all right. Because they're asking for help,
Yeah.
That was just one other thing I noticed. But
I think they are all things that rhyme with ticks.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And
everybody is
punts.
Go ahead.
And rhyme with punts and riding with ticks.
Yes. And it's just sad that you also see, like, if you're not one of the bigger houses, even like lordlings, you would think, oh, you're a lord, they'll care about what goes on with you. No, they're only the biggest houses or the strongest houses. They really care about what's going on with them. The Game of Thrones. It really is an interesting game that Tyrion's playing with these people. But that's all I got for this chapter. Anything else with you, Stig?
No, it's just it's a bit of a setup chapter. The payoff will happen soon.
Yes, very good setup chapter, definitely.
So 1, 2, 3, and I'm such an Egypt that it took me a second to catch it. I caught it when I saw the words. That's what happened because.
Well, when he first says 1, you have no clue what the hell he's talking about, right? You're like, wait a minute, what is he doing? Even at 2, you're like, okay. It wasn't until like 3, you're right. Like, okay, he's setting some people up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love who he sets up. Varys, Littlefinger, Pycelle.
And he goes big.
It goes big. When he goes big, he goes big. But yeah, I am good. You guys good?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. We're going to wrap it up, guys. Sorry. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. I'd like to save Sansa because those were 2 longer ones for next week. We're also going to do a theory. If you guys in the chat have a theory you want us to discuss, please leave it in the comment section once this video is up, not just a stream, but once it's on my page, or DM me or put it on Twitter. I'd love to discuss theories you guys want to hear us talk about. So make sure you guys do that, and we will definitely do that. But we're going to do some outros. Lady Tauriel, let them know about your page and where they can find you.
I have a small YouTube channel. It's Lady Tauriel. You can also find me on Twitter at Lady Tauriel1. Just put up a video a couple days ago, so if you'd like to go check that out, have fun and leave a comment. It's much appreciated.
I will definitely. I'm going to check it out after this. And thank you so much for being here. It's always when you and Jayne and everybody are here, it's so much more fun. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And Stig Kenobi.
Oh, and Tauriel does fun live streams now, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Me and Teresa are on quite often. And
that's great. When are you doing them?
When
are you? Yeah.
Just varied times. I haven't really come up with a time yet. So maybe on a Friday, because I get off work on Fridays. So maybe like an afternoon on a Friday or something like that, mid-afternoon.
That's awesome. Guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to check that out. And, if I have a Friday open, I'll shoot you a DM. Maybe I could jump on with you guys. That would be fun.
That'd be great.
All right. Thank you. And Stig, you have a channel, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't done much with it for a while. Uploaded some Billy D. Williams commercials.
Nice.
People like those. I just put up retro stuff.
That's great.
Just, mostly to preserve old stuff, I guess.
That's awesome.
I don't give a crap about subs or views or anything. It's just it has stuff on it. It's a variety channel.
There you go.
Or whatever. Other than that, I'm here on most Mondays.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm awake. If I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping.
Yes, sir.
And on Thursdays, I'm on OG Star Wars talking about we're going through old Star Wars comics, kind of like what we're doing with this, but not as in depth though. But it's great fun, and people seem to like that. And sometimes
OG Star Wars rocks. She's awesome.
Oh yeah, and sometimes if I'm awake, I'm on the Queen's Council for some reason.
That's awesome. That's so great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here, Stig.
Yeah. Oh, it's always fun to talk about the books, and every damn time it makes me want to read the books as well.
I know.
I just did. So.
That's what's the beauty of these books, man. Thank you so much. And one of my go ahead.
Side note, the book is a great big work of art when you can actually research the book and the stuff in it.
Yes. And have like multiple different avenues to research too, like with the accompanying books. And next week maybe we'll talk about the idea of Dunk and Egg being a live show.
Oh,
and that's what they're talking about. I think it got a green light to do a pilot. Well, we'll discuss that next week though. And one of my pillars of this stream, Miss Martin Muses.
Well, thank you for having me. You can find me at Miss Martin Muses here on YouTube, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. I have some movie reviews I've been starting to do. I am going to do a video game review of a new game I'm playing right now called The Day of the Tentacle. It's a 90s one, I believe, upcoming when complete it. And you can find me on Twitter, Teresa2_Martin.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Yeah, guys, make sure you check out all the channels. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We had a good time. As always, next week we will do Sansa 1, run through that one, Sansa 2, run through that one. And we are going to definitely jump into theory streams. So we're going to do theories next week because we haven't done that in a while. We might go over some old ones or some new ones again. Leave it in the comment section below once this is over, or DM or tweet me with your ideas, and I will try to go over them. But until next week, guys, I just want to thank all my members, especially Tina. Tina, not Nina. Tina Bojan. I lost my little sheet that tells me everybody's names. Damn it. Tina Bojan, Jack D. Who knew? There's one other person. Son of a bitch, Scott. And one other person that I'm blanking on at the moment. I feel like so bad that I don't have. Oh, there it is. God, production value here, people. Toxic Man Flu. Oh my God, he's never going to let me forget that I forgot him. For my little finger. Oh, $2 boobs. Thank you, Culture Casino. Those guys are my little finger level members. I appreciate them. I appreciate all my members, which Casino is one. And again, I got pictures now to go next to your names, so you'll be seeing that very soon. And for everybody else, thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Stop by the Humpty Dump on Wednesday. And this one is for my members. Put a spork in it, guys. We are done.